secrets to building habit is like teaching a kid to ride a bike. At first, you are letting the kid pedal as you are holding on, but at some point, you let go and the child rides on without you. Just like this, at first, we offer the brain an extra reward after exercising, but eventually, the sense of satisfaction and endorphins are enough for it to sustain the behavior on its own. It's learned to see the value of these secondary rewards, which are most pleasing and stronger than sugar laden rewards in many ways, but it takes time. Sensory primary reward lasts as long as the experience lasts, but the feeling you get from being in great shape or doing something positive for 98 consecutive days stay with you. Right now, I'm looking at a giant wall calendar full of checks mark that remind me of the progress I've made. It sounds lame to look at checks and feels good, but my brain knows exactly what each of those marks means. In fact, if you want to be happier, one study shows that celebrating wins is the most effective strategy for making us feel good about our life. That's quite the endorsement for many habit which is based on celebrating and leveraging small wins. Reward strategy. It's not all the work in exchange for reward through. It's fun to live well, and there is satisfaction in developing a good habit. That means if you are exercising, look in the mirror after a few weeks and remind yourself how that progress came about. If you are writing, celebrate your beefed up word count, and if you are only meeting the minimum requirement on these, think of the great habits you are forming to serve as a foundation for more. But strategy matters too. If you are using the no clue strategy, then you can either seek reward after you take action or stay conscious of how you feel and reward yourself when you think you need it. Many habits offer the perk of a greater sense of satisfaction than traditional habit. That is the greatest secondary reward. If you think a great accomplishment feels good, no, that is feel even better when you did 95% of it as bonus work. Through when you do a lot of bonus work, you might want to reward yourself to encourage that behavior. Abstract rewards such as a sense of satisfaction are largely tied to your mindset. This is a why I emphasize that you celebrate your small success. Success leads to more success because we like the result and feeling of success. You do well to learn to love delayed gratification to the anticipation of a bigger reward later is a form of reward that can often conquer the temptation to cash in on a smaller reward now. The more you practice the experience delayed gratification, the more response you will be to it. The rule of thumb is to keep myself happy while doing this. I know when I'm nearing burnout, and that's when I'll take a rewarding break. Rewarding appears to restore willpower. Rewards encourage repeat behaviors, but did you know that they also restore our willpower? Cognitive scientist Art Markham say when you stand in front of that buffet table filled with dessert, seek out a friend and have a fun conversation. It may seems like a puzzling suggestions, but reward of all kind may be visible way to restore your willpower based on the Mr. Ego deflection concept. Multiple studies have concluded that people can overcome ego deflection by restoring glucose. Some scientists, however, wanted to put another willpower restoring theory to test reward. Their theory was that perhaps it is the reward from eating sugar that restore willpower. Sugar is known to activate the reward centers in the brain They started with typical exercise to deplete willpower, then one group swish a solution sweetened with artificial sweetener and spit it out. Artificial sweetener do not activate the brain reward center. The other group swish with a sugary solution and spit it out, which activate reward centers on contact with taste buds. The results showed that the people who swish with artificial sweetener showed no improvement in ego depletion, but those who swish with sugar did. Their willpower was restored to normal level because glucose level were not restored, but willpower level were restored. It appears that at least some part of the willpower restoration comes from rewarding the brain. This is a good news for people who want to lose weight, as it means that non-food reward may be effective in restoring willpower. So when Markham said to seek out a friend and have a fun conversation, he's telling you to restore your willpower with a brain reward. Then you will stand a better chance against the chocolate cheesecake. Hey, I said better chance. Willpower is commonly associated with avoiding bad habits like this, but we also use willpower to force ourselves to do good things. So reward will help us stick with our good mini habits by encouraging further behavior and restoring our willpower. Step 5, write everything down. Writing something down instantly elevates it above all of your other thoughts. One study found that all thoughts, positive or negative, held greater prominence in the mind when writing down on paper. The same impact has not been found for typing. You got to hand write it to amplify it. Here are some strategies for tracking your progress in whatever strategy you choose. I recommend that you check off your success before you go to sleep. If you check off your tasks early in the day, the sense of completion might make you feel less motivated to do bonus reps, and it's a good habit to check it off before bed so that you don't forget. The big calendar recommended. This is the strategy I use for tracking my mini habit. I use a large text calendar on the wall in my room. I write my mini habits on a nearby dry erase board and check off every day on the calendar that I complete them, which is every day, except for the gym, which is 3x a week. In the lower left corner of my day boxes, I'll note when I go to the gym. Then in the upper right hand corner of Saturday box, last day of the week, I draw a small thick mark. That's why I can look at the corner instantly, see how many times I've been to the gym this week or previous week. It's simple and it's work rate. Checking off a successful day still feels great after a month of mini habit. If you have a hybrid mini habit like driving to the gym or doing one push up, you can note them by writing G for gym and P for push up. Then you can look back and see how often you've been choosing each. Another option is a yearly at a glance calendar. If you are just going to be checking off day and a smart budget move to print one of the many free printable calendars you will find online. Tips: simply print out your Gmail calendar physically. Making a check mark makes our success feels more tangible than digital tracking does. Additional, if you put it in a prominent place where you will see it often, it's going to make you mindful of your mini habits, your progress, your success. Don't underestimate the impact of this. Jerry Seinfeld appears to have been a pioneer in many habits. He famously marked each day on his calendar with a big X if he completed his joke writing task. He recognized that the daily progress was the key to forming a habit and improving his craft of telling jokes. He first told young comedian Brad Isaac about his productivity secret before a show. One day, Brad wrote about the Seinfeld response in an article for Lifehacker. After a few days, you will have a chain. Just keep at it, and the chain will grow longer every day. You'll like swing that chain, especially when you get a few weeks under your belt. Your only job next is to not break the chain. This is a good summation of many habits. We don't want to break the chain, and the only excuse for breaking the chain is forgetting, because many habits are too easy to fail, but forgetting is a poor excuse to, because your calendar will be in a plain sight, and every night before bed you will ask, did I do my mini habits today? And just to throw this out there, I don't see many habits as a fad you'll drop in a few months, but as a lifetime pursuit, it works too well, and is not flexible to quit. Both writing down your mini habits initially and checking them off as you go is extremely important for your success. Don't skip it regardless of how you track your mini habit completion. I suggest you at least handwrite the habits themselves in a place you can see. Digital tracking. Some people will want to use their smartphone, and while I prefer the old fashioned way now, smartphones have some significant advantages. The first is accessibility. People carry their smartphone with them else everywhere, even on vacation overseas. The second advantage is invisibility and reminder. Some people can remind you to do your mini habit or serve as a concrete cue to take action. Here are the best app to use for mini habit on iOS and Android. Live for iOS. If you want to go digital and have iPhone, I highly recommend the Lift app. It tracks your daily or weekly progress in whatever habit you set. It matches perfectly with the mini habit system and lets you see how many days in a row you completed your mini habit. It's even connect you to the other Lyft user to give you a feeling of community support. Warning: the app might suggest that you set a vague goal like drink more water. I've seen this exact goal recommended. Never do this. How does one drink more drink more water? If you swallow a few drops of water in the shower, is that good enough? Vague goals aren't measurable and don't give you concrete I succeed or I failed feedback. Concrete feedback is the critical for reinforcing behavior. Make your mini habits very specific and very small. You can set the mini habit of drinking 1 glass of water with any of the cue types. For example, habit strike plain for Android free. There's a Lyft app for Android too, but it's a beta and current review rate is 3.1 out of 5, not great. The most popular and best rated habit tracking app on Android is called Habit Streak Plan. It even allows you to set a reminder which can serve as your daily cue to do your mini habit or as a cue to check your mini habit before bedtime. The app also track how many days you have done it. It also show 50 to 53 if you miss one day out of 53 days. Aims for 100% success with no excuses, but if something crazy happen, and it better be crazy given the size of these requirement, and you miss a day, it won't hurt you. If you miss 2 days in a row, something is wrong. These are ways too easy to be missing 2 days in a row. Flukes happen, but they don't happen that often. Again, do not set any vague goal as a mini habit. Vague goals or habits are unfocused, meaningless, and a terrible idea. Desktop laptop solution. I think the best simple habit tracking for the desktop is Joy's Goal. Joy's Goals, it's very simple. LiftDo is a website for the desktop versions of the Lyft app. You can also use any numbers of online calendar. My friend Harry Chu also has a solution for goal habit called Goals on Track. Goals on Track.com for all the goal system I've used. His is my favorite. I made a lot of progress when I started using it. There's the habit tracking features in his program. So if you're looking for all-in-one solution to track goals and habits, I recommend this. I wholly focus on building habit, but not everyone has that desire or luxury. Overall, I think the mobile apps are a better choice than computer apps because desktop and laptops lack the 24/7 accessibility of cell phones. Finally, note about all digital apps. You are going to see ideas for pre-made healthy habits to add from these apps and website. Resist the urge to start these habits unless they are already minified. Unlikely. If you really like one of them, make sure that you minify it before adding it to your repertoire. It looks fun to try doing 100 push-ups per day, but it's less fun when you quit. It's more fun to have one push-up per day as a goal and blow that tiny goal away for 200 plus days in a row. You can find many habit ideas at minihabitideas.com. Many habits ideas. That page will be updated regularly with new habits and combo plans. Combo plans are a habit package. You can try that, work well together. They are mainly for the fun, so you can call yourself cool phrase like the fit writer, which includes these daily mini habits. One push up or another exercise mini habit, write 50 words, read 2 pages in a day. Step 6, think small. Why you are making these habits so small, then we could aim higher. And what if you stop at your small goal? Is it still useful? Yes, it has to do with willpower. The advantage of willpower is that it can be strengthened. Very disciplined people are those who have strengthened their willpower, but that's only to get them started. The extremely fit people you see in the gym don't have to force themselves to exercise anymore. They don't actually need willpower anymore because exercise has become their brain's first preference. When you develop a habit, you will say, brain, we need to exercise, and your brain will reply, I was already on my way to the treadmill, try to keep up. We want to do three things on the road to habit: strengthen our willpower, make progress in a present moment, not exhaust our willpower. Losing any one of those three things would be a problem. Who is okay with always having a weak self control, who want to train for 3 months before making any progress in life, who wants to burn out from willpower exhaustion? Anybody? Seeing those three tall orders don't instill confidence is a possible answer, but a small step satisfy all three requirements. We'll cover them one by one. Mini habits for the willpower strength. What good is a strong willpower if you only have it for 2 hours a day? We want our willpower to last the whole day. Endurance training at the gym involves lifting lighter weights with higher repetitions, which trains the muscles to endure. Many habits are the same way. We are giving them ourselves low willpower tasks, but with high frequency. It takes very little willpower to do one push-up, perhaps just a silver more than you think. To starting something truly is the hardest part, especially in regards to willpower. Over time, this frequent repetition of forcing ourselves to perform achievable tasks makes our willpower stronger. It's practice.